Without any time wasting and fluffing around, let's jump straight into the topic of today's video. We're going to talk about James Wiseman and how his attitude, work ethic, and productivity as members of the NBA community are talking about him. As you should know, Wiseman was the second overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. He was selected and is now playing for the Golden State Warriors at the center position. He is listed as 7 feet, although some people say he is 7'1". Long story short, he's a big dude. He isn't putting up big numbers just yet, but most of his peers think he has the ability to. To kick things off, let's start with what Stephen Curry thinks of James Wiseman. If you don't know who Stephen Curry is, I'm just kidding. Everyone knows who Steph Curry is. Steph remembers the struggles and obstacles he had to face during his rookie year and other early years in the league, so he knows a thing or two about what Wiseman is currently going through at the age of 19. He recently had this to say about his new center after Wiseman was moved from the starting lineup to the Warriors bench. Keep giving him opportunities. Understand they're all learning lessons. I used to get benched for AC Law. You got to be able to take those lumps in stride and learn. The Warriors moved Wiseman from their starting lineup because they wanted to bolster their defense by inserting Kevin Looney at center. Looney has been with the team for a while and he is familiar with how Golden State plays defense. Many players have noticed that James Wiseman gets a little too concerned about things that don't necessarily work out the best on some plays, and then he lets these things affect his mindset throughout the rest of the game. If you are a basketball player like us, you know nothing good can come from this. When Curry was asked to share his thoughts about this characteristic of the young center, he said he knew he was a perfectionist and wants to be a great player who is very productive in his minutes and finishes games. Curry went on to say that it's great for Wiseman to expect that amount of greatness from himself, but he can't allow bad situations to get overwhelming. He believes that Wiseman should just stick with it, keep his composure, and stay engaged and open to learn the lessons that he needs to learn to become better. Curry thinks that if Wiseman approaches the game with that mindset, it will work out a lot better for him in the long run. Curry truly believes that James Wiseman will develop into the player that he has the potential to be. Curry said James is going to continue to develop, continue to be productive in his minutes no matter when they come, and learn what he needs to learn on the fly. Draymond Green is another teammate that had a few things to say about James Wiseman. Draymond is well known for his outspoken character because he always speaks what's on his mind. It won't take a psychic for us to know his thoughts on the rookie. When Draymond was asked about how Wiseman handles less than favorable situations, he had this to say. He gets too frustrated with himself. He gets so frustrated, he kind of takes himself out of the game. You have to be able to forget and move on and try to make a play for your team to give your team an advantage. Draymond thinks that Wiseman has plenty of time to figure out what he needs to know. He said that he's 19. I know a lot of guys who came out of high school and 12 games removed wasn't as good as Wise is right now, so he'll be fine. When asked about Wiseman's ability to learn the game, Draymond said, I think every night he's showing growth, even on the nights where he doesn't play as well. Every night I think he's shown growth. And he's a much better player than he was 5 or 6 weeks ago. He's getting better each and every time we step on the floor, and that's the key. It's no secret that Wiseman was recently taken out of the team's starting lineup, and a development like this can shatter anyone's confidence. But Draymond told reporters that he really isn't worried about James. Him coming out of the starting lineup, that lineup hadn't been good. When you're the young guy, that's just kind of what happens. It could have been me, it could have been Kelly, it could have been Andrew. It could have been anybody coming out and trying to figure it out. For him, he just happened to be the young guy. Draymond really isn't blaming anything on Wiseman. He's just saying that the changes are being made to allow more experienced players to work at fixing the problems with the lineup. He even went on to say that this could happen in the future with other rookies, so it's not really an indictment on Wiseman. He said in 5 or 6 years, the lineup may struggle in the beginning, and there will be another young guy, and that guy will get taken out. No matter if he's coming off the bench or not, he's one of the most important players on the team, regardless of when he comes into the games. Kevin Durant, aka God's gift to basketball, played with the Warriors and won 2 championships before recently leaving to join forces with Kyrie in Brooklyn. Kyrie kind of left the force for a minute, but that's for another video. It would certainly have been interesting if Durant was with the Warriors and got the opportunity to play with Wiseman. But chances are the Warriors would not have been in a position to get the 2nd overall pick if they had KD. Anyway, Durant was very fascinated about the kid when talking to NBC Sports. Amazing talent. Definitely deserved his draft position. Sky is the limit for him. How fast can he get up and down the floor? Did Kevin Durant like the fact that James Wiseman is willing to learn the game? KD said, from outside looking in, he looks like a sponge, so he's willing to learn. When you're around champions every day, you're just going to soak up knowledge. You walk around and you see the banners, you see what comes from winning, the new arena. I think he's going to soak it in and become a great player. Kevin said that Wiseman is a rare talent, and he is looking forward to playing against Wiseman and following his career. Well, there you have it, guys. KD has spoken. We can end the video right now. Seriously, though, how much weight does all this have coming from arguably the best player in the NBA? Being a phenomenal talent doesn't always mean you can spot other phenomenal talents. Michael Jordan. But the fact that KD is still playing in the league makes him one of the best persons to get praise like this from. The last NBA talent to weigh on James is Channing Frye. Channing Frye? Yeah, Channing Frye. Hasn't been relevant since 2016. It is understandable that some of you may not remember him or even know who he is. But Channing Frye is an NBA champion and a very talented big man who played the game at a very high level. He was never selected to an all-star team, but that doesn't mean he was not a good player. Channing Frye was one of the earlier versions of a stretch big, and he shot over 30% from the three-point line. Okay, that's enough about Channing Frye. Let's look at what he said about our show's star today, James Wiseman. He's a stud. I saw his first game and I said, this kid is next level. Just his intuitiveness, his aggressiveness. That's what Channing had to say about James Wiseman recently. Next level. That's some great stuff. He went on to describe a play Wiseman made going coast to coast. When he got the block and then dribbled it down and dunked, it's just like, you don't see that. Child goals, right, Channing? Now, don't shoot the messenger, but Channing Frye believes that James Wiseman is a more aggressive Joel Embiid at this early stage of his career. He thinks that the pace, athleticism, and skill set of James Wiseman is something to be reckoned with. He's not a hog. He's not just shooting just to shoot like, I want to get up 20 shots. He values the ball. And this is the biggest thing for rookies, valuing possessions and getting the best shot possible. I think Wiseman is making winning plays in Golden State early. If your rookie can affect a win or a loss early, then his ceiling is going to be crazy. These are some really good comments coming from a veteran who has been through the league and has won a championship. He closed his praise for the young NBA center by saying that he is making some rookie mistakes, but that is expected and acceptable. And I'm sure all this we can agree on. I may not be an NBA player, but I think that if Wiseman continues to approach the game with the great work ethic and willingness to learn, he will be just fine. That's going to be it for our video on what NBA players really think of James Wiseman. Don't forget to smash that like button, give us a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.